This is lesson 80 on ratios. You'll see that I have two examples. On the first example, the story problem is in green, and then there's a box in red. I want to focus on the box first. You'll notice that there are 3 columns. I'll use a line to show you each column. First column, second column, third column. The third column is used for the big group, what's actually happening. The second column is like a small sampling, so it's a small group. And then the first column is a list of what's actually being talked about. Now we're going to look at that first column and get the information for it. I get it from the story problem. Looking at the first sentence, it says to make green paint, the ratio of blue paint to yellow paint is 3:2. It says specifically that the ratio of blue paint to yellow paint, that's what I'm interested in. I'm going to put that in the first column. A B for blue and a Y for yellow. Moving on to the second column. And that one I need to actually put numbers. This is supposed to be my small sample size. You will also be able to find that in the first sentence. The 3:2. Since blue is first, then yellow in the sentence, 3 is the blue, is first. Then the 2. On to my third column. The third column is all about that second sentence. When I read that second sentence, it says for 6 ounces of yellow paint, how much blue paint is needed? Well, the 6 is a yellow, so I'm going to put 6 in the yellow spot. And I'm going to put a question mark where the blue is because I don't know that. I actually have my ratio inside this box now. I'll circle it for you. Right there. Now I'm going to write it the way you're used to seeing them. 3/2 equals something over 6. This should look quite familiar to you. Whenever you've been doing the fractions and adding and subtracting, you've needed a common denominator. And to get that common denominator, you've had to find the equivalent fraction. That's what we have here. The 2 needs to become the 6. To make the 2 the 6, I need to times it by a 3. The same goes for the top number. The 3 also needs to be times by a second 3, the one from below. 3 times 3 is 9, and that is my answer. Going on to problem 2. Same kind of thing. Soon as I see in the story the word ratio, when I read the first sentence, it says, sadly, the ratio of flowers to weeds in the garden is 2:5. As soon as I see ratio, I'm going to build myself that table. Now, on this sample, or this example, I'm going to actually build the table with you. Let me thicken my line up. First, I begin by actually drawing the box. The box needs to have 3 rows in it at this time. So I got 1 row, a second row, and I'm going to extend this down a little bit to get my third row. Now to get the columns, there we go. 1 column, second column, third column. First column is supposed to have my information in it. I put that little dot there more as a space holder because nothing actually goes in that little section. So It just to remind myself not to put anything there. To fill in my first column, I need to reread my sentence. It says, sadly, the ratio of flowers to weeds in the garden is 2 to 5. So flowers to weeds is what I'm after. F, then W. Second column is for it to be the ratio or the small group, the small sample. So I have 2 to 5. Flowers came first, so the 2 is the flowers, then 5. Last column is the actual large group. So it says, in my second sentence, there are 30 flowers in the garden. About how many weeds are there? So they're giving me 30 for flowers. That goes here. Weeds, I don't know. So I put a question mark. Here is my ratio or my equivalent fraction. Let me write it over to the side. 2 over 5 needs to equal the equivalent fraction with 30 on the top, and I'm not sure what's on the bottom. I figure it out by deciding how to get from my 2 over to my 30. Let me switch colors for a second. 2 times 15 gives me 30. I need to times the bottom number of the first fraction by the same number, 15. 5 times 15 is 75. That 75 is my missing number. So that's your lesson in ratios. Good luck.